A lot of walking at least 100 times a year. And all those alleyways and the ways that turn around, and then you get to the Hello explorers. Welcome back to my channel. It's Kita the Explorer here, and thank you so much for returning. Today we're going to talk about things you need to know about Italy, Venice edition. So if you want to check out the Rome edition, you can just check out the link up above, this card up above, and you can go there and check out the video. In today's video, I'm going to give you 8 things you need to know before you visit Venice, Italy, and let's get into it. But first, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below, yes, and the notification bell right next to it so you'll be notified when all my videos are released. Videos are released on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Time and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And on my channel, I talk about all things travel photography and a little bit about the environment. It's free, so please go ahead and support your girl. And now let's get into it. All right, the first thing you need to know before you visit Venice is that you will be doing a lot of walking. And with that said, make sure you have comfortable shoes to walk around in. Don't think you're gonna wear something cute and walk around on those cobblestone streets, honey. And not to mention the stairs. There are so many stairs to go up and down, go over bridges and the different canals and all that stuff. Have comfortable shoes. I cannot say that enough. Luckily, I had comfortable shoes, and I am so glad I did, because that would have just been a miserable day with my feet hurting. And while we're here, if you need my whole itinerary of Italy, where I visited Rome and Venice and had a New York City layover, you can head on over to kitaexplorer.com/shop and get the itinerary so you can see everything I did during my trip. All right, the second thing is, it is not handicap friendly. If you have to push around someone in a wheelchair in Venice, I pray for you. I saw people struggling with strollers, trying to get over the stairs and over the bridges in Venice. It is not friendly for that. So you may want to decide to go somewhere else if you are handicapped and you won't be able to maneuver through those cobblestone stairways and all that jazz in Venice. Now, like I said, you will be doing a lot of walking. That's on period. You will be doing a lot of walking. But if you need to get somewhere at a bigger distance, they do have water taxis available where you can go to the station, kind of like a bus station, but like on water. So like, I guess a boat station. But you can go to those stations and pay whatever the fare is to take the water taxi from point A to B. But unfortunately, there's only going to be so many of those places, and you're going to still have to get off the taxi and walk there. That's why you still have to walk. You're still going to do plenty of walking. Also, if you really have the money and time and you just want to do it, you could always arrange or have a private boat to take you from A to B. So that is up to you and how you want to get around. But at the end of the day, you're still going to do a lot of walking, okay? Hey explorers, have you signed up for my mailing list yet? If not, head on over to kitaexplorer.com/subscribe and get on my mailing list and see what's going on my website, because I have some information that will soon be released and you need to be on the mailing list to get it. Did you know I'm a photographer and I take photos as I travel around the globe? You can head on over to kitaexplorer.darkroom.tech and find photos that I have taken from places like in Turkey, Atlanta, South Africa, and my most recent trip to Italy. You can purchase it on paper or canvas just to liven up your space, just as I did of this photo from Atlanta. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. Now, another thing to note, it may flood in Venice, especially from October to January. But I did see photos at night right before I went to Venice of St. Mark's Square flooding, okay? So make sure you have water-resistant shoes, or shoes you don't mind getting messed up, and shoes that feel comfortable when they get wet walking around, because if you're going from October to January, you're gonna see some flooding probably, and you may see it other times of the year because of where Venice sits in its level compared to the sea. So just be prepared, because from what I read, it floods in Venice like at least 100 times a year. Another thing to be aware of is their narrow alleyways. I mean, those alleys are so tight sometimes, it can hardly fit two people, but two people have to go both directions. So you may have to turn to the side to get through sometimes. Or you try to rush through the alley to get to the other side before someone comes from another direction. They're not all like that, but they're always going to be snug where it only can really fit two people going both ways. So if you don't like those narrow type of ways, you definitely have to keep that in mind walking through those narrow alleyways. Another thing to note, Venice can get really expensive if you let it. I mean, the department store I went in and was like, oh my gosh, this department store is expensive. I've never seen a department store so expensive. We don't have the expensive looking department stores like that. I mean, you will see a lot of expensive shops in Venice. So you could really end up spending a lot. And not to mention, Venice really caters to tourists. And when a place caters to tourists, they're definitely gonna up the rates because you're tourists, you're there to have the time. So they're going to up the rate. So it could be expensive if you let it become expensive. Now make sure you have Google Maps or whatever map that you use on your smartphone up to date, and have the map of Venice downloaded offline just in case you lose service. Because if you don't have a map, it is very easy to get lost in Venice and all those alleyways and the ways that turn around, and then you get to the end of the road and you're like, oh, I can't cross the canal here, okay? So make sure you have the maps ready to go so you know exactly where you're going in Venice. Oh, and plus, I still didn't really see street signs. Every once in a while I see a sign, like Google Maps would say, like, turn on XYZ Street. And I'm like, where are the names? So I was really literally following the design of the map on Google. All right, the last thing is safety for females and Black Americans. And as I've mentioned in this video linked up above and in other videos, it is very important to talk about safety for females because women are not treated with the same respect by people around the globe. And also the same for Blacks, Black Americans, people from the African descent. Treatment varies depending on where you go in the world. And it's unfortunate that happens. And it's unfortunate I have to explain this, but it's very important for me to tell this story because I am a female and I am a Black American. I want to make sure people know my experience. Now, I must say, it is my experience. What may happen to me may not happen to you. And I still recommend, if you really want to go somewhere, you always go. You see it for yourself because our experiences will never be the same. Now, let's talk about safety for females. Now, I was only there during the daytime. I didn't walk around at night or anything because you have to walk around, but I never felt threatened. I felt okay, no treatment. I wasn't treated with disgust or anything like that as a female. As a Black American, I had read articles. I can't remember the article I read, but I read an article where this Black American, I believe she was Black American, went to Venice and people were looking at her like she did not belong there. Like, how could she afford to be there? Yeah, I did not have that happen to me, thank goodness, because that's really awkward when people look at you like that. Trust me, I've had it happen in other situations. But luckily that didn't happen to me and I didn't have that experience. I didn't have any mistreatment based on being a female or a Black American. I hope this was helpful to you, these 8 things you need to know before you visit Venice, Italy, and helping you prepare for your trip. If you're planning to visit Italy during the World Health situation and you want to know about my experience entering during the pandemic or the rules based on US residents and the information of how you can find out about entry into Italy during the pandemic, please check out my Rome video, which will be linked down below in the description box. And that will give you the information there, okay? So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. If you have any questions or comments, please leave that down below in the comment box. And make sure you share this video with your friends, family, and your social media networks. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day or night wherever in the world you are. Bye.